Good evening, councillors. Sounds very tinny tonight. Right, welcome to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting this Wednesday evening. And I'll start off with apologies for absence. Looks like we're all present. Good, thank you.
Bob.
Oh yes, Bob Cartwright. Yes, he has sent his apologies, yeah. Declaration of councillors' interests and requests for dispensations. Nothing that I'm aware of.
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Yes, there is.
Yes, I'm going to be asking you to leave the room at that point, Tim.
Okay, I should probably declare, although I don't think it's anything we need to worry about, and I'll just abstain from voting, for Conference Avenue. I live almost opposite it.
Yes.
But it's a non-material amendment to an application, so
yes.
I don't. I'll just not vote on that one.
Okay.
None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you. The minutes from the last meeting in January, are we all happy that these can be signed as a true record of that meeting? Okay, proposed, seconded. Tim, all in favour? Thank you, carried. Right, I'll sign those at the end of the meeting. To receive the chairman's report, a couple of things here. The Parish Council's Airport Association, a PCAA, minutes of the last meeting in response to the Bristol Airport Master Plan consultation are attached. This is closed on the 31st of January, the public section of that consultation. And this is to increase the passengers per annum from 12 million to 15 million. Hey ho. 4.2 enforcement case 00118, 74 Marjoram Way, the erection of a fence enclosing the garden. This was brought to North Somerset's attention by us, and they've decided to take no further action relating to this matter. This was a removal of a hedge, quite a dense hedge, which formed part of the curtilage for that property and was part of the street scene, and they ripped it out and put in a hedge, which was extremely disappointing. Public participation. We have 3 members of the public here. Who would like to speak first? And if you could give us your name, please, and what you're planning to be speaking about. Thank you. Would you like to come and sit here?
Yeah, sure.
So that online can hear you as well. Just press the button for the...
Hello, thank you. Nice to see you again. Hello. Hi. So my name's Grant Mackenzie. I'm the long-term tenant at 56 Heron Garden. I'm here representing my family, my wife and child, and our landlord, who regrettably can't be here today. We have both submitted a public objection to this planning application for 62 Heron Gardens, which is the adjacent house. You may recall, may not recall, I know you'll recall that I was here some months ago when they had an initial application for virtually exactly the same as what they're trying to push through now. A first floor extension, which would create a number of issues that I've highlighted and landlord has highlighted. They amended, following a call to committee from Peter Burden, they amended the application to remove the first floor elements entirely, and we were happy with that. So it was all on the ground floor. They can do whatever they want on the ground floor, as far as we're concerned. However, they've now gone back without consulting us, without saying anything. This is very much in keeping with their attitude, it seems, towards neighbours, and they put forward this new application, which is almost identical to the first one that we objected to. So it's a 3rd bedroom, so turning a 2-bedroom home into a 3-bedroom home in violation or against the plan. Yep. Obviously, we have an issue with that, and it's the same issue with the wall. The wall wouldn't be quite as bad as it was, but it's still going to be there, still overbearing. it's it's just not acceptable from our perspective. He has lots of room if he wanted to extend. He could do it around the back of his house. There would be no issue there. He's got a huge garden, but he's intent on doing it on the side, which is, it's just very frustrating. And it seems, I mean, obviously there is this issue of the third bedroom. We're very against that because we have a 2-bedroom home. We would like to be able to buy our home at some point. And when you have people coming in doing what they're doing, this is obviously what we voted against. It increases prices for everyone. So, there are multiple issues to consider here, and it just seems that it's in bad faith because there was this obvious issue which they acknowledged by submitting the amended plan, and now they're just trying to do it all again. It's just bad faith. So that's what I have to say. It's very unfortunate, but that's the situation.
I noticed that, well, maybe we'll just talk about it when we come to the actual planning application.
Okay.
Which I'll bring up to the top of the agenda.
Thank you. Do you mind if I sit back? Thank you.
Thanks very much. Press the button again. Hi, my name is Patricia Ritchie, and we own 20 New Haven Road. We've put plans forward to put a balcony in. We've put plans forward to raise the road a little bit. I'd like to talk about why we're doing this. My father got very ill last year, and I was missing quite a lot of that year because I was up and down to the hospital. But at the moment, he suffers. He's under the Disability Act, where he's got curvature of the spine. He's 84 and he's not very well. What we want to do is exactly what our neighbours have done, which was to raise the drive so he has the dignity to get out of the car without endangering himself, which I don't see a problem with. Dropping one of the curbstones so that he can use his mobility car with dignity to leave the premises, which I don't see any problems with. We will have to change the house in terms of stair lifts, etc. And then we have the second, which is a balcony. I don't see a problem with this balcony because this has actually happened all up and down that road. We've got balconies on our road, we've got balconies in the front road, balconies in the back road. I mean, I've seen some of the questions about what you can see into and what you can't see into. The road we live in, we can see Wales. You can't change the view. We can see what we can see. I can see through in my living room, sitting on my sofa. I can see right in front through someone's property that they are sitting in their balcony that's overlooking someone else's balcony. So I don't see what difference that makes. So basically all we want to do is to make the house livable for somebody who needs some help. And I'm quite sure that the council is aware of that. That someone who suffers from curvature of the spine and has osteoporosis and everything else, if we don't do that, he may have a fall and he may damage himself further. So I'm just quite shocked that we wouldn't be able to do that under what circumstances.
Can I ask a question, Chairman?
Sorry, what circumstances?
Why would we not be? What would stop us from trying to make a house safe for someone who's disabled
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
appreciate what you're saying. No, I mean, that's a bit of a technicality which I can't specifically answer in relation to the North Somerset sort of highways and plans and things. But are there any others that could answer that? No, but they'll make that decision. We're just an advisory group anyway, as you
Okay,
probably
yeah.
gather.
So I mean,
But-
we've obviously seen some of the submissions which were submitted after the date, which got on, and we're coming up with just some strange comments on there about what was one of them?
Airbnb
An Airbnb or HMO. And it's like, well, where did that come from? I've spoken to my neighbours about my disabled father. They have watched me try and get my disabled father, who's bent over. He's got curvature of the spine. He's bent over, and if he falls, he's going to be needing serious help. There's no going back from that. All of my neighbours have seen that. They've all seen it, and some of the comments make me wonder: are they my neighbours that are making them comments? Because they've watched me try to take my father up that very steep incline with dignity, and it's quite hard. And all I'm asking as somebody, I own my house. I'm not asking for money to do it. I'm not asking for help to do it. And I don't see why I have to fight to do it. It's something that he should be getting with dignity and pride in his old years. He's worked his entire life, and why can't I give him that?
Okay, thank you. Right.
Is there anything I can say that could?
No, I think you've probably covered the main points in relation to
Yeah.
some of the application, yes.
I mean, is there someone I could speak to on your diversity team that would say to me, well, maybe we're doing this the wrong way?
I'm not sure that you're going to find that there's an objection coming from us in this particular.
Oh, okay.
I might be speaking out of turn. We'll see what happens
Oh,
when we
right.
come to it.
see.
So-
I
so-
apologise. I do like.
No,
to
that's fine.
express
I'll
myself.
do 62 Heron before yours, if that's okay, because I've already said I would. I didn't realise you were from
Fine.
20. Thank you. And
Sorry, I do go.
Marianne, if you're happy to answer.
My
ask
dad
the
doesn't
question,
want to
then
go
we
into
do
a
it.
home, and I'm trying my best not to put him in there. But the second one is to do with the balcony, and he likes to look out at the sea. He can't play snooker anymore, play darts, but he can sit and look out at the ocean. It's all he's got.
Okay.
So I'll leave it with you, and I know you're capable, kind people, and you will make the decision based on what you think, and that's
Mhm.
all I can ask for, if I'm totally honest.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know Marianne here has got a question for you, which you might have to
Yes.
come back to the mic and.
No
in due
problem. I'm
course, yeah.
quite happy to ask any questions under the circumstances.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm prepared to offer any doctor's notes, anything that you need. We can provide you with it. We're not trying to do anything that isn't kind. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So I'll leave you with that in mind. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
I have-
I would have stopped you otherwise. Right. So let's look at these planning applications then. We'll start with the Heron Gardens one. These are the photographs which you probably recall came from the previous application. The application in question was approved by North Somerset Council. I think I'm right in saying that this amendment has been with the possibility of reducing its impact, but we have to ask the question as to whether we feel it's still having the same effect on the neighbouring property, which is set back and has, in my view, and expressed at the meeting previously, a detrimental view on the amenity value to their garden and their lifestyle. So not a lot has changed in my feelings in regard to this one. It still has more or less the same height. It's not quite the same dimensions as the existing property. It's set back both laterally and in height. but it's more or less the same bulk. Roger.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we did this one before, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we objected to this one, and I think I raised an objection because it was a change from a 2-bed to a 3-bedroom, which contrary to the what he said, town plan, neighbourhood plan, whatever it's called, but. And me and you spoke about this the other day, didn't we, as to what the differences were between the two plans, because we're struggling to find them. And today I've had another look at it, and I note that the existing plan now shows that the house is a 3-bedroom, not a 2-bedroom, as the previous plan showed. Whereas the previous plan showed 2 bedrooms and a study, this one shows 3 bedrooms. So what was the study is now marked as bedroom 3 on there. I have absolutely no idea if that was just an error on the first one, if that's just a relabeling to get round something. No idea what to do about that. But maybe we should just flag it to North Somerset that the status has changed from a 2-bed to a 3-bedroom between these two applications, so that they can look into that a little bit more closely.
Okay. I noted on the site visit that there are works going on internally at the moment, whether that's in relation to changing its use. And as I said, the original plan was approved. So how we feel about this one, Tim?
The purchase, yes, that was helpful. Getting really bad at this. The purchaser was saying last time I've seen them, I can't remember if it was on the street or in the meeting, how the study was a very tiny bedroom and it wasn't fit for purpose. But wouldn't they have viewed the house and looked at it beforehand and not gone in and thinking, okay, then we can change it all on the planning or an extension? So that's my only thoughts.
It's just looking at the plans. I don't think it's going to affect the planning application.
It didn't go on.
Didn't go on. Okay. Don't think it's going to affect the planning application, but the middle bathroom upstairs has no door going into it. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
I just wrote down how to access the middle bathroom.
Yeah, it's off the landing. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we minded to object to this on the grounds of its overbearing bulk on the adjoining property, as we did last time?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, would someone wish to
We should
propose that?
remain consistent, I believe.
I think we should remain consistent. Yes, remain. Okay, Tim proposed objection on the grounds of its overbearing weight on the adjoining property. Seconded by Roger. All in favour then of that? Thank you. Unanimous. Okay. Right. So we'll go on to New Haven. The pair of applications here, starting with 0016, which is a proposed extension of the existing drop curb and expansion of hard standing. So we've had the explanation from the owner, the house owner. In relation to this, I'm assuming, looking at the frontage, that it's removing one curbstone, so it's not encroaching into the neighbouring garden property, boundary. And
Come on, join us.
so
Oh, there we go again. So
it shows, to my mind, just that one curbstone
Yeah.
being removed and the drop section coming in its place.
so you can mind it is going up a steep. It's going up a steep
Yeah,
little embankment, and it goes. Yeah, that's it. It's going up a steep embankment, and what happens is basically my dad gets out of the car and we have to get him a little step, and
You're on
then
the
he gets on the step, and he's completely unstable because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
going up, and he's got wheels on his he's got this little, he's like a little frame, and he is terrified. I have to tell you, he's very terrified. And we try and get him to one of us in the back, and he doesn't want to do that. He just wants to get out of the car and get onto on an even road and step out.
I sense that by removing a section of your garden in front of what will become your day room will be beneficial to your father,
Yes.
because he'll be on the level and he'll be able to get out of the side of the car.
And not make it safe.
So I personally don't object to what you're planning to do on that in that respect. Do we have any further comments from the floor? Matt?
I feel that I should object just because earlier you said that we wouldn't object, but I won't. But I mean that planning applications aren't about your father or his access to it.
Yeah.
It's about what's reasonable to do with a property.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether it's your father or somebody else or whatever, is this a reasonable adjustment to the property to change the parking space around to make access easier? And I think yes, why not? Why would that not be a reasonable thing to do? We have an aging population.
Right.
These are built on hills. There's a slope there. Anybody, regardless of their age or if they had an infirmity or whatever, would benefit from that. So it seems like a reasonable thing to do, and I can't see any reason at all to object to it.
No, I mean, my dad also has made us promise we're giving him, well, he's not going to a home. We've been told that's not going to happen, and I wouldn't let him have it. I would never allow him to go home, but it's going to reduce his risk dramatically from tripping, falling, going backwards. And he curves really where he can only see someone's shoes.
Right.
It's quite bad.
No, I mean, I think as Roger points out that irrespective of the situation with your father, I mean, I think we understand why you're wanting to do it, and it's no particular issue, I don't think, in terms of planning. But Roger, you're planning to propose this?
I would say let's propose approval and move to a vote, and then go straight on to the second one. Yeah.
Can I just make a comment before we?
Please do.
Just to kind of have it on the record, sorry, because of the neighbours' comments and things, if you just confirm that it is just that one stone that's going to be removed.
Yeah, they know that okay, I'm just not being satanic, but the neighbours have done it for their parents. It's actually something that's done. He gave me the idea because I saw it and thought that's a great idea.
It's just for our record, just to kind of say that it's that one stone that is in line with your driveway, which makes complete sense.
It does.
But it just needs to be on. I think it would be nice to have it on record because it's something that they've raised that they don't know how much you want to take, and if you just confirm it is in front of your own drive.
It is. We're not doing it in front of anybody else's. Yeah. We're not doing it.
No seconder.
I'm
Tim.
okay with that. Okay.
All in favour of approval on that one? Unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll stay where you are. 0017. This is the extension to the front balcony. Bit of a mistake, I think, in the minutes in the agenda there. So, bit of a different kettle of fish on this one, in the sense that it does come for quite a bit. It will be because your house is currently most prominent on the 5, I think, that were constructed very similarly in style, and I think this is a slightly different situation because of as you know, there are 8 objections online, all basically saying the same thing about overbearing and overlooking other properties, your neighbours. So I'm not particularly happy on this one.
Have you actually seen what you're actually looking?
Yes, I have. Yes.
You have.
Yes.
And you're basing that on what's it based on?
Well, inevitably it becomes a bit of a subjective comment.
Right.
I think it projects out too far. It will have a bearing on the street scene. Yes, one of your neighbours has done it 2 doors up, but their house is set quite a bit back, and even with their projected balcony, it's still a metre behind the adjoining
Right.
property, whereas yours is not going to have that shelter, so to speak. And I think this will be quite a prominent feature, which could be seen as being detrimental to your neighbours.
Detrimental
I
in
think so.
what way?
Overlooking.
Overlooking. It's all you can overlook in them parts completely. You can overlook into a different country. I can look into my neighbours who can look into their neighbours. I find myself looking at something it's already been done. It's already been achieved. It's already been put in place.
I've stated my case. So, other comments? Are there any comments from any others?
I think just to say that I did actually write down, I mean, I hadn't heard about your father's situation or case, but considering our consistent approach to how we do our planning approvals for all the properties that we look at, we do take neighbours' views into consideration, especially when overlooking is one of the considerations. And 8 objections online is a significant number. So, I mean, I know they haven't come forward today. More than 3 is a significant number.
Yeah, I mean, how do you get hold of the fact that we
have to balance between residents in the town?
How do you know it isn't? How don't you know you're not getting 8 people who have had their friends call in and do that? How is it objectified? How is it?
Well, I'm afraid that's how things are. We don't know that any more than you do, but we just have to accept the fact that there are obviously objections coming from others.
I do have to stay in my peace, and I will say it. And it may not go down very well, but it's because I do come from a compliance background, and most of the time you have got to have some sort of evidence to prove what you're saying and how you're saying it. In cases of where, I mean, look at the Horizon system. Everybody looked at the Horizon system and they thought they're right. They're always right.
I fully appreciate what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's the officer down at North Somerset Council who will be perhaps making a site visit. Maybe they've already been in touch with you. I don't know, but they'll be the one making that final decision, or the officers will.
So is it someone? I'm just asking. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
Is it someone's opinion? Is it subjective opinion?
No,
I mean, if you got an eye, if you got
they will be looking at the law around the planning situation and rules in relation to neighbourhood plans and so on and so forth.
Oh, right.
Some of which are sort of stated in relation to some of the previous applications on this.
So there's a possibility something can be objected because they just are.
Actually,
there will be reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I've just looking at the plan here, and I think what I looked at and why I was questioning it was because that I know that your neighbour, either on the right or the left of you, are likely to have their views obscured.
Yeah.
And also it means that your house, at the moment we've got a straight line really going across, where all the houses are.
Yeah.
And it means that your house will stand proud in front of the other houses, if you like. And I think that's what I see. Okay. Whether that's what. So I don't know whether that's a technicality. I don't know whether that's a legal thing or not. But that was what I looked at and thought, I can understand why some neighbours might not support it.
I look at it from an objective is a risk is a risk until it's materialised. Once a risk materialised, it becomes an issue. So once the risk of something occurring, it's no longer a risk; it's an issue. So you can look out of my drive. You can look out my You can look at my house now, and you can look at Wales. You can look at a different country. I can look sitting on my chair right now, and I can look right through that window without even going out onto a porch. And I can look through that house, and I can look through that window, that can look through that window. You can look at their porch, looking through someone else. I don't understand how you can look at a risk that's already materialised. It's already there.
Well, what I'm going to do is we have 2 district councillors sitting in amongst us. We're town councillors. Roger, you might have more technical knowledge as to the planning reasoning behind possibly our regards to objecting to this.
First of all, I think I wanted to talk to the whole application for the balcony, because I see the objections online. I understand that there are concerns from neighbours, and having done this for a couple of years now, I guess, I've seen a number of applications for balconies be turned down because of objections from neighbours or overlooking, or maybe because of overlooking rather than objections from neighbours. So I think there's issues here around what the law allows the planners at North Somerset to do, and it's quite straightforward. They have a sort of formula they will work on to say whether or not a balcony goes too far. And as I say, we've seen quite a few balconies turned down. Equally, we've seen a fair number of balconies passed through. This one here, as it's been said, there's been a significant number of objections.
Yeah.
They don't publish everybody's name and address for obvious
Just
reasons,
so you know,
but the people at North Somerset, the planning officers, do know where these come from. So they may not be published, but they do know. So if Joe Bloggs objects and he lives in Clevedon, then that's not going to be given very much weight. Whereas if he's the house next to you, that's going to be given more weight. When it comes to planning, it's a balancing act. So they have to make a decision. There's no option to not make a decision. They have to look at all the legislation. It's very technical. They look at all the legislation and come to a decision. Me personally, I've got no massive objection to this, but whether or not this meets the criteria for the planners is another thing. What I would suggest, I mean, we'll do what we'll do here, but what I would suggest that you do is contact the planners down at North Somerset and ask them for guidance as to whether or not, or whether or not they think that they might object to that, and what they would suggest to do, because they will allow you to amend it without paying a further fee.
That would be good.
Rather than go through. But that's not something for here. That's something that you could do later.
I understand.
That being said, we can move on unless Tim wants to say anything.
Thank you, Roger.
You'll find that your planning officer will be on your application online. You should be able to find his name.
Yeah.
Or her name, easy enough.
I honestly do find it really difficult, because, some of my friends said, Bristol, kind, caring people. And, I cannot understand how some of my neighbours have watched an old man struggle up a hill with he's got a curved spine on a thing, and to actually turn and go, I'm going to put a...
To be fair,
I think it's a bit. I think I kind of think to myself that in the names of humanity, I think to myself that kind of hurt a little bit. These people seen it. They've seen an old man struggle.
Yeah. Okay. We understand where you're coming from. I think we have to look at this in the context of what we're looking at, which is the balcony application.
But I mean, I do.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off.
Okay.
So yes, we'll move on. And I think Roger's made a very good point in informing you about what the next step could be. And it could be that with a small amendment, you might be able to,
hopefully
adjust things.
Hopefully common sense will prevail.
But I think from our perspective, we have to take the considerations of some of the rejections in the
I understand
case. And I think, therefore, one of us or I will make a proposal for objecting to this particular application.
So you're objecting
Yes.
to the
Yes.
balcony.
And if that's seconded,
Right.
whether it's coming from any, okay.
The only,
So-
and I'm going to go back with another objection to that.
Yeah. Well, of course, you're
Because
at liberty to
being
do that.
The
Yeah.
balcony will be the only fresh air he gets.
Well, that's a
That's the
decision, as I said, that North Somerset will make. The officer will make in due course. But
I don't think he can't go up and down the steps because
So-
we're going to probably have to see.
I'm going to take
somebody.
this to a vote, please. So there are 2 of us objecting. Are there any others?
Sorry,
A vote of objection. 2, 4.
I'm going to abstain.
Abstain. You object? Okay, so 4 of us, 1 abstention, and voting in favour.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Principally overlooking and detrimental to the street scene, and rather obtrusive in its size.
No,
Thank you
I
for your
think
comments.
I'm going to have to go down that route because I just want to see if I can give my father some dignity to back. I can't owe it to him, so I'm going to do it. I might even become a councillor. I may do this.
Feel free.
If it actually
Anyway.
does some good, I think I might.
Thank you for
try.
coming down this evening, and we'll move on if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
Right, councillors. Great. Okay. Do feel free to leave if you wish to do so. 0032, land at Harbour Crescent, request to discharge condition number 24, remediation. It was a pretty straightforward thing. We do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. 2679, full application, 26 Brampton Way. I saw no issues with this one. Any further comments? This is a proposed demolition of existing conservatory and erection of a large single-storey rear extension in its place. Did anyone have any comments in relation to this one?
Yeah, it's quite a large extension of building, but it's all first floor on inside his back garden and goes right to the end. So I think it's not impacting anybody else. So-
Well, subject to neighbour not having any issue with it.
No,
I
no,
have
no
objection.
comments online either.
Any seconded, please? No objection. Seconded by Roger. All in favour
No
of
objection subject to
neighbours?
no complaints. from
Yeah.
neighbours, yeah.
Okay, Steve.
You're delegating your observations to the neighbour?
No. No objections. I presume that everyone's agreeing. No objections, subject to neighbours. Yeah. All right, then the land at Harbour Crescent. Any issues with that one? Someone proposed no objection. Roger, seconded by me. All in favour of no objection? Yeah. Ditto 0036, Portishead branch line, request to discharge requirement 23, protection of bats.
Can I?
Yes, make a comment.
So Portishead branch line, I always like to do this when Portishead branch line comes up because I get so excited that we might
Yes.
actually get a railway. So this is a discharge of condition, just to show that the works have been done to get us to this stage.
Mhm.
And I am hopeful, as always, the eternal optimist, that it will actually appear one day and we will have a train. So yeah, I think it's really good to see that the work is ongoing. And hopefully we will get to hear something soon.
And we should hasten to add that this isn't a 3.3 kilometre tunnel for the bats. Right. So moving on then. No, we didn't. It carried unanimously, yes. 0044. Full application 79 Hillside Road, proposed erection of a single-storey front extension, former porch and study with a balcony above and creation of a front external access ramp. So 79 Hillside, no comments in line. Any comments from the floor? This all looks. I had no objection to this one.
At all, it's an improvement, if anything, isn't it? What's the only difference here? They just got
Just pulled out at the front a bit.
Yeah, sure.
In line with the frontage. I propose no objection.
Yeah.
Seconded.
No objection, I'll second it.
Seconded by. Okay, Jenny, and all in favour of no objection. Okay. Right. 4 Conference Avenue, 0045. If you look at your list at the end of council decisions, it's there having been refused. So I'm not really quite sure why we're discussing this one. Anyone know?
But I couldn't see any change. I don't know why it's back there.
It's
I don't know.
non-material amendment.
It was an amendment to not carry out part of the plan that was previously approved. So I can't understand why, if they approved the plan, they've now refused the application to not carry out part of it. So I have absolutely no idea. I mean, I know it's opposite my house, but it's in their back garden. I didn't even know it was going on, to be totally honest. But if it's been refused,
it's been refused. So, Steve, I don't think it's necessary to go to a vote on this one. Right, Tim, I'm going to ask you to leave the room because you are an employee of Norwood Lodge, which is 0093 72 Nor Road. Proposed formation of a level outdoor seating to the north of the property. That's a seaward side, alongside recessed seating area with the existing internal courtyard to the west of the property. So quite a number of plans online. I just printed off the one at the rear. It looks to me like an improvement, and I can't really understand why they haven't done this years ago. But anyway,
can I ask?
Yes, Martin.
This is overlooking Nor Park Drive. Would that the actual height here? Would that overlook them at all? Like, I'm not.
Well, frankly, there is one person that could answer that, who's gone out the room. But I don't know. I mean, the topography does fall away, doesn't it? It has to be said, but I don't know that.
Well, there appears to be trees and stuff at the
boundary. So I think there is a screen.
Like online, I couldn't see if it would have any effect or not, really. But that's my only query, to be honest. It's an improvement, isn't it? A nice project.
Yeah. Well, particularly for the residents who are able to get out there. Yeah.
Sure.
Any further comments?
No.
I was surprised it even needed planning, to be totally honest. But clearly, yeah.
Because it's amendments to their own garden, isn't it? They're just putting a patio area down.
It's quite a large proposed extension.
It's their own land.
It's their own land, yeah.
It does overlook to River Lees. So
is there a screen there of trees or anything?
Not screen either side, but not obviously immediately in front. Well, there are some bushes, but I suppose it's pending that are there any objections from the two houses
which
that are immediately
online.
in front on River Lees?
Nothing online.
I think we can probably assume that it's unlikely they're going to have raves there, are we?
Okay.
No objection. Proposal seconded by Marianne. All in favour of no objection? Unanimous, Steve?
I can get 10.
The next two we'll look at together, 0106 and 0150, both at 26 Quantock Road, minor material amendments and request to discharge condition number 7 on the surface water drainage scheme. So this is an application which has already been approved Do we have any comments on the floor? No comments online either. Propose approval? No objection. Seconded by Jenny. All in favour? Yep. 0108 Nexus Resources, discharge of condition 4. This is down at the other end of the high street. Again, no objection. No problems. Okay, so proposed by Roger, seconded by Martin. No objection, unanimous. So the next one, 0112, full application at 20 Rippleside. Demolition of the existing detached garage and proposed erection of a 2-storey side extension and a single-storey front extension to form additional living accommodation. Large plot at the bottom of Rippleside. And there's the plans. I can't see any objection to this one. It's Jenny.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it doesn't ruin the sight lines of the neighbours.
No.
So on that grounds, I wouldn't object to it. And it still is, even though it's considerably bigger, it still doesn't add any extra bedrooms to it. I think it looks a lot more attractive.
Yes.
But has it got side access to the garden? I think it looks like you can no longer get to access round the side, but I don't know if that's anything we need to think about or not.
Well, if that's a decision they've made, I presume they're aware and conscious of it. I mean, they do have access onto the little lane at the top, which is currently fenced in. But yeah, not sure. Any other comments?
I think one of the neighbours on this side has done exactly the same thing already, an extension to the side.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone move no objection?
Yep.
Martin, seconded by Marianne. Okay. All in favour of no objection. Okay. 360 Nor Road, 0114. Application proposed erection of a single story and first floor rear extension to form additional living accommodation and balcony belt. Proposed front porch extension to extend bedroom and lobby. No objections online. Comments? Anyone? Not dissimilar from the previous application in a sense. As we know, many properties on Law Road have changed the appearance of the houses. I don't have any objections to this one. Any comments?
I found it quite difficult to get my head around what they were actually doing. And it's a very dark room, very big dark living room, but that people have cinema rooms, don't they, and things like gyms and all the rest of it. So I thought perhaps that was what it was. And I just felt I wanted to see the street scene. I wanted to go and have a look. I only looked at it just before coming out. I really felt I wanted to go and take a look at what it looked like from the front. But
we're
has
going to
anybody
get a few
done
of
that?
these, aren't we? This is a granny flat, do you know?
Well, yeah, extending the size of the rooms and the floor area. Any other comments?
I'm struggling to find out. I think I'm getting that slowly, but surely. Is it one of the big houses on?
Quite a big flat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
It's only detached.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
It's on the rising hill bit, isn't it?
Don't know.
So you're looking up,
drive at the front of it.
at it from the front, yeah. So it's extending further out into the front, but it probably has very little bearing on the neighbouring property. Any other comments? No. Any other? No. Proposer? No objection. Marianne, seconded by Martin. No objections all round. Yeah. Yeah, fine.
No, you just wanted to be different, I know.
Right, 0134 full application, 2 Linnet Gardens. Now, this one is tucked away down in the village quarter with 2 smallish in width garages, one of which they want to turn into accommodation. Probably I'm almost certain it's happened on other properties down there, partly because of the width of the garage and the size of modern cars. So, and the garages are on the road or around the back? I think they're around the back.
Garages are on the road.
They are on the road. Okay.
Do we assume that they must own both of the garages? It just seemed odd to me. Why was it built with 2 separate garages?
We've seen quite a few of those, haven't we?
No, the adjoining garages for the adjoining property. Garage number 1, and we're looking at number 2, aren't we? 2 Linnet, yeah.
So do they own both of those garages?
I don't think so.
Garage number, we've got opposite views. So do they own garage number 1 and garage number 2? Because my concern would be if they're getting rid of their garage, the parking around there is a nightmare. Now. So what we're doing is taking away the garage, which people probably don't use it, but.
Okay, well, to be fair, I didn't read that into what I thought. I thought it was garage belonging to property number 1 rather than having a pair of them. Because there's no linking doorway through them, is there? Whereas there is into number 2. Don't know, go, Jenny. That's all.
No.
Yeah, Roger.
So, as Jenny, I think, mentioned, this area is quite poorly served for parking, isn't it? And ever since it was built, people have moved into it. We've had nothing but trouble with cars. Rubbish vans unable to get down there to collect people's rubbish and recycling. Delivery vans unable to get around certain parts of this estate. It's really difficult, and I would be concerned if we're going to lose a parking space, especially if that were to fall outside of North Somerset's parking standards. So I would object probably on the grounds that I think it's going to fall outside of North Somerset's parking standards to remove the garage to that.
Okay. Seconded. Will you get that seconded? Tim's seconding it. Any all those in favour of Roger's comments? Right. Thank you. I shall abstain on that one, Steve. Fine, so you've got the reasoning down there then, contrary to North Somerset Council's parking standards. And then lastly, we have two of them, yeah, with the late submissions, but should we deal with those now or come back to them? Right. 3 Lilies Orchard. 0136, a minor material amendment to the application which was approved in 23, which was the erection of a single-storey side extension to provide additional living accommodation and garage. And this is to put planting strips and things around. Did others see this late one?
I did see it as well. I thought there was nothing
Nothing,
wrong with
no,
it.
no.
Do you want to leave it online a little bit longer until the next meeting, just in case?
Well, it was a non-material amendment.
Yeah.
It was nothing
It's already
hugely
been approved.
controversial or anything.
Yeah,
It's-
that's fine.
and it's tucked way at the top of the
I'm-
cul-de-sac.
I'm not worried about 3 Lily's Orchard. It's the Gardner Road one that I think needs a closer look.
Okay, we'll have a look at that in a minute. Right, so we approved the
Yeah.
seconded by Mariam. So all in favour of Lily's? Yeah, fine. Okay. So yes, 15 Gardner Road, 0141. Partial demolition of the existing detached garage and the erection of a 1.5-storey front extension, 1-storey rear extension, 2-storey rear extension with gabled roof. Landscaping alterations to the rear of the property. Anyone looked at this one online? It's quite detailed, and the current house has obviously been occupied a long time, and it's 1930s built, I think. So the application is quite extensive remodeling of it with these extensions. So, do you want to ask for a time extension on this one then? Until next?
I think so. I mean, I've actually put down that I've got no objection. I actually thought it was going to improve because the area considerably, because the house is in disrepair. It's obviously needs a lot of work doing to it. Whoever buys it or has bought it is going to need to do a great deal of work.
Yeah.
But perhaps we should
Okay.
look at it in more detail.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying, Jenny. Okay, Steve, so we'll defer that if it's, if North Somerset agree to that. Yeah, thank you. So therefore, we have the agenda item number 8, planning consultations, the update to planning fees. So from April the 1st, I presume, along with other local authorities in the country, North Somerset Council will be putting up the fees. We don't know what they are, but they will have that information online. And there are also proposed reforms to the National Planning Policy Framework, which has been updated in revisions in order to achieve sustainable growth, by building 1.5 million houses. Seeking views on a series of wider policy proposals in relation to increasing planning fees, local plan intervention criteria, and appropriate thresholds for certain nationally significant infrastructure projects. Again, more information online. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're hoping for a decision on that in April, aren't we? March, April. But
remind me after the meeting.
You're going to update us. Good. Right. And so we've looked at the 2 late planning applications, and hopefully we'll get the deferment for 15 Gardner Road to March. So the information only section at 10.1 is in relation to the TPO on 6 Harmony Drive, which we are consultees, but we have no comments to make on that. And then the list of approval of the decisions, most of which are approved. And then the date of the next meeting, which is on the 5th of March. I will call the meeting to a conclusion. Thank you. Thank you, councillors.